What's going on? Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey here. You're watching NFL Daily. We got the latest NFL news and rumors coming up here on the show. And Tom, I'll tell you what, man, we got an awesome show on tap. Make sure everyone who's watching this show live right now that you're interacting with us in the comments section below. Now, Tom Brady is the talk of the town. I mean, he's Tom Brady. He's returning to the NFL. At least that's what he put out on Instagram. And kind of a scriptive, I don't know, he said he wants to continue playing, basically. But there was a lot of speculation around him. I mean, he's about to turn 43.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age. But you also had to figure Brady was not going to end his career on that pick six to lose against the Titans. Here's what he posted on Instagram. In both life and football, failure is inevitable. Kind of referring to that Titans game. You don't always win. You can, however, learn from that failure, pick yourself up with great enthusiasm, place yourself in the arena again. That's where you will find me because I know I still have more to prove. The Twitter read between the lines people were saying, just Foxborough is not an arena, Mitch. They play outside. He's going somewhere else. That was the hint. I don't really think that's the case there. But it's also not surprising to see Brady, who has expressed interest in playing until he's 45 years old, only turning 43 later in August, much later in August at this point, so early in the year, saying he wants to play again. That makes sense to me.
I'm not too surprised. So what do you guys think is going to happen with Brady? Will he be a Patriot in 2020? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let us know in the comments. We'll give some shout-outs to some of the people. Reed says no. Bosco Gamer says no. Seeing a yes roll in from Steven Johnson. Continue to get those votes in. Will Tom Brady be a Patriot in 2020? Y for yes, N for no. One of the rumors floating around.
Yeah, you can do this one because I got some thoughts, so I just want to let you explain it.
So we know that Tom Brady came out and said this past week that I don't know what the future looks like, so I'm not going to predict it. Luckily for Tom Brady, there are companies out there, betting companies. Tom, you and I, we're both betting men. So a sports betting website had Tom Brady landing with the Cleveland Browns in 2020 as the favorite. The odds in at plus 550. The favorites, the Browns. I was a little bit speculative on it. Now, this is what they had to say. This is Robert Cooper. He's the one that makes the odds over there at sportsbetting.ag. The Browns were initially installed as the favorites because we do believe Josh McDaniels will take a head coaching position this offseason, and the stars aligned well for him to head back to Ohio, where he was born and raised. And what would make for a better story than McDaniels and Brady heading to the organization where Bill Belichick cut his teeth as a head coach? All the pieces of the puzzle are there for them offensively. The defense isn't too shabby either. They would immediately become legit contenders next season.
It's very bold of a sports betting site to publicly admit they've never once watched a Cleveland Browns game. Very aggressive to say that. Are we pretending Baker Mayfield doesn't exist? Is that what we're doing here?
Thank you.
Like, if the Cleveland Browns had nothing at quarterback, sure, that would have made more sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever for Brady to go to the Browns. What are they going to do with Baker? And why are you trading away a young third-year quarterback who's super cheap for an old veteran who has maybe 2 or 3 years left in him? That makes no sense for Cleveland. That's a really bad idea.
I don't disagree with Tom whatsoever. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you might get hit with an ad break here. So I got a question that I'm going to make as the pinned comment on this video. Who deserves more credit for the Patriots dynasty? I want you to type T for Tom Brady, or I want you to type B for Bill Belichick. We'll continue along here with this rumor. Josh McDaniels going to the Browns. I showed you the quotes. We know that he has an interview with the Browns today. They're doing their process. They're also about to interview Jim Schwartz, which I can't even believe.
Among others, they, I think, have the chance to take their time here. All of the other NFL head coaching jobs are filled, so they can take their time, not rush. Now, of course, they were not going to get Matt Rhule. He said none of them to even an interview. The firing of John Dorsey makes me think McDaniels has a much, much better shot than maybe we initially had on our candidates. That's when Dorsey was still the GM. McDaniels is going to go somewhere where he can have a lot of power and control in the organization. Because that's what he's seen Bill Belichick do. That's what he did in Denver, where it didn't work, by the way. That's why I'm a little leery of giving McDaniels all this power. You're hoping that, attempt number 2 or maybe 2.5 since he agreed to the Colts job and then bailed on them last second will be different. I think McDaniels should be viewed as one of the favorites. He's one of the last to interview, I believe. Of course, they could still end up doing more there. But McDaniels makes sense. He has ties to Cleveland, and I think the Haslams really like him as well.
Plus, I also think the Browns are going to go offense, and they should. But if Josh McDaniels is going to have to step in, you got to win, man. I mean, I feel bad for the Browns fan base.
You need stability at some point.
I mean, look at all these coaches.
You made the right move to bail on Freddie Kitchens. We were certainly calling for that, but you can't keep shuffling your front office and your head coaches every 2 or 3 years. Like, you're never going to be able to build anything at that point for Cleveland. Not that it's easy to do, but you can't just keep changing one piece and then saying, okay, well, this is working, and then change the GM, change the coach back and forth. That's a really bad process. So hopefully...
I mean, Greg Williams is the only one that has a winning record. You know that meme out there, like, I'm going to tell my kids? I'm going to tell my kids Greg Williams is Vince Lombardi, basically. I'll be like, this is the only guy that can win with the Browns.
Fair, at least since 2005.
Since 2005.
I believe Jake Delhomme still has the best win percentage of any Browns quarterback since they revamped there.
A lot of names,
They got to get this one right, which we've said for years now, but they still need to get this one right.
So maybe you guys can figure it out for them. Who will be the Browns' next head coach, and will it work? So put it in the comments. If you guys have any predictions, I know we put out a video on the Browns' top 10 coaching candidates.
I think I'm going to go with McDaniels here.
Really?
Because they made the move away from John Dorsey.
Oh, man.
I think McDaniels ends up being the pick.
So who will be the next Browns head coach? Throw it in the comments. If you want to bet on it, we got a place where you can bet on NFL playoffs. You can bet on a lot of things there, NBA NBA games as well. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120 for 120% deposit bonus. If there's anybody out there that likes to bet on NFL games, I saw some of y'all saying that the Chiefs are going to win this week. Get it together, Mitch. Go bet on all the playoff games at the internet's #1 sportsbook. That's at BetDSI. Next rumor, Tom. You got a judge.
Judge in New York. Someone made a comment there. There's a rule in Carolina and a judge in New York. Joe Judge is the new head coach of the New York Football Giants. Certainly was a bit of a surprise. I do kind of wonder, and there was definitely some spin coming out of New York immediately after the hire. Everyone had connected them to Matt Rhule for obvious reasons. He used to coach for the Giants for a year, was from the area. He looked like the #1 candidate. Then he goes to the Panthers, and then very quickly Joe Judge ends up getting hired by the New York Giants. The former Patriots, I feel it's weird why people are calling him the receivers coach, which he was, but he was mainly the special teams coordinator.
Correct.
So I feel like you should call him the special teams coordinator, not the receivers coach, which there's a very small sample size, but special teams coaches actually have a pretty good rate of success in the NFL. Just throwing that out there. I think maybe the biggest red flag here is, when was the last time a Belichick guy worked? Bill O'Brien. And beyond that, the track record's not very good. So I would be leery of this hire if I was a Giants fan.
All right, how about this? We're going to go back to school here, okay? If you had to grade the hire, and I want you to be honest, I know you run the Cowboys show, and I thought it was a little bit petty for the Giants to officially announce it.
Which I love, by the way. For the record, I love it when NFL teams are petty. The Cowboys announced they're not bringing back Garrett in the middle of the Eagles playoff game. Giants officially confirmed Joe Judge is their head coach in the middle of Mike McCarthy's.
I have not seen a single grade over C. It is D's, it is F's. It looks like every report card I ever had in high school.
If you weren't a Patriot fan, had you heard of Joe Judge before this week? No, you hadn't, and that's fine. It very well might work out for the Giants, but I wonder if they panicked a little bit, or maybe they were really concerned that their backup plan.
Somebody just typed B. I've never seen this.
Joe Judge had an offer to be the Mississippi State head coach. Are you really want to hire the guy who was going to go be a lower level SEC school head coach? I know Judge is that's his alma mater, but this is an interesting and I think pretty risky hire by the Giants. And frankly, I agree with Goldfox. Dave Taub, another long-time special teams head coach, that might have been a safer hire.
So
this is a risky one, though.
Continue to get your grades in. The Giants, the past 5 seasons, they need to start winning some football games. Maybe Judge can do it. It has not gone well, though, for their past head coaches. Maybe Tom Coughlin's the only name on there that maybe has any kind of respect whatsoever.
Yeah, the rest
I miss Ben McAdoo's hair. That's what I miss.
It was not great hair.
It was horrible hair. The best was the kid that used to imitate him.
It's true. Giants fans, if you're looking for something positive, going with Joe Judge allows you to have more of that CEO-style head coach, someone who's not going to be calling the plays. allows him to focus on that role more. I think for Judge, who is still very young, you better make some good coordinator hires. I'm curious to see what route they end up going there, and if Jason Garrett actually is a candidate for that job as Giants OC.
So it has not been very good for the New York Giants. I got a lot of family and friends that live in that area. So how many games will the Giants win in 2020? I feel like as host of the Cowboys Report, you almost have to say 0.
They're going to win games. I'm not delusional. I would say the biggest reason, and I'm kind of seeing this now flow in the comments too.
Winston says 3, seeing 6, 5.
If you're a Giants fan, I think maybe your bigger concern is less to have to do with Joe Judge and more that Dave Gettleman's still your GM. That's a big red flag, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. Seeing 5, a 6, have not seen a single record over 7 wins for the Giants. It's not looking too good for them. Tom, I'll let you handle this one. Cowboys introduce Mike McCarthy.
It was an interesting press conference.
Make your ramble shorter than
Jerry Jones. Look, man, his analogies are something else. I would love nothing more than to hang out for an evening with Jerry Jones sipping on some Johnny Walker, because the stories that would come out of that would be absolutely incredible.
Could get you a job.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Spend the night.
Well, he didn't spend the night at Jerry's house. That was apparently fake news. McCarthy comes in. They officially announced that. The big takeaway for me out of this press conference was that McCarthy didn't really want to discuss coaching staff and scheme. He was focused more on the introductory side of it, said there would be a time and place for all of that. And that's noteworthy because, A, he's probably going to call the plays. That was kind of implied in the press conference. But on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to bring in Mike Nolan as the defensive coordinator. He's coached both 4-3 and 3-4 schemes. The new defensive line coach will be Jim Tom Sula of failed 49ers fame. You wonder if there could be a full-on scheme change here. Not that it matters too much because you're playing nickel more and more. You wonder if there's going to be more 3-4 going forward for the Cowboys. That will be something to monitor early on in this offseason for Dallas. It's very interesting.
So next rumor, Tom, is Teddy Bridgewater staying with the Saints? All right, Tom. Bridgewater, he's one of our top free agents, which we'll get into in just a second. Now, we know he's going to become a free agent on March 18th.
With the tampering time in weeks March 16th to 18th.
We agree that he should be in high demand. You might argue
I was right.
The best quarterback that's ever lived. The report is, though, it will take something special to make Bridgewater stay. And now, ESPN, they kind of dive in, and they're saying realistically the only way Bridgewater leaves is for a team that's already, ready to win right now. I don't know if I agree with that. Who?
The Chicago Bears.
Oh, God, I hope he doesn't go there.
Makes sense. It's not going to happen, but it makes some sense.
It does make a lot of sense. Now, the reason why Teddy Bridgewater, I actually would like to see him stay. I would like to see him be the successor to Drew Brees, who I don't know how many more years he has. And yes, Bridgewater was great, but I also think Bridgewater was very good this season because of the team, because of the offense he plays on. But the Saints got to figure out what they're doing at quarterback.
There's no doubt that Bridgewater was maximized by Sean Payton. So I don't think he wants to leave and go to a bad situation. That's why he took less money to pass on the Miami Dolphins and to stay with the New Orleans Saints. The problem becomes this offseason that Payton said, look, I want to keep all 3 guys, but Drew Brees' contract is set to expire. You might have to extend and redo that, or you're going to take a big dead cap hit.
It's like $21 million.
Yeah, how long can he stick around viably? He's in his 40s now. Bridgewater's gonna get big money offers. He could easily get $25 million a year on the open market.
Yes.
You can't pay your quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks combined, I'll say $50 million. That's a lot of money. Now you can get creative with the way you structure a deal. That could be a big time problem for the Saints going forward. That could be a really big issue for them. And of course Taysom Hill, who I think should also want to stay with the Saints, but we'll see what route they end up going. I know that they want to keep Teddy Bridgewater. We'll see if they're actually able to, though.
Now, the Saints did just get knocked out by the Vikings, so do we have any Vikings fans watching? Put it in the comments. Let's see some skulls there. If you want a Vikings t-shirt, go to chatsports.com/NFL playoffs. We got a whole bunch of gear for the teams that are still in the playoffs, and also, if you want to go to Fanatics, they got some other gear there as well. Limited time only, though, but if you want to get your playoff gear, okay, got a lot of Chiefs fans. Harrison does a great job with our Chiefs channel. Go to chatsports.com/NFL playoffs. Probably one of our most loyal watching fan bases is the 49ers. Those are some pretty sweet hats, I will admit that. Chatsports.com/NFL playoffs. Go get yourself some gear. This is a team that I think probably would have made the playoffs if this guy would have continued to play. Is he coming back? Andrew Luck. Doesn't really look like it, Tom. So when he retired, this shook the world.
Look, this should be no surprise that
Thank
Luck
you.
does not want to come back. That's what his dad said. Didn't notice any desire from Luck to get back out on the field. I promise you this will not stop some out there from saying, well, just sign Andrew Luck when you're looking for a quarterback, or other meows saying,
we talked
what about Andrew Luck?
2 months ago, because all the Raider fans were like, why don't the Raiders just go out and get Andrew Luck? The issue with that is the Colts still have his rights if he comes back.
Under contract.
And the last time, I found the article, I don't know if you remember it, but it was like back in 2018 when somebody was like, oh, they'll trade for Andrew Luck. The team had to give up. It was like 3 first-rounders, 2 third-rounders, a 4th-rounder. Way too much. Andrew Luck, to me, was actually one of my favorite quarterbacks. It's very sad to see that he retired as young as he did. I don't think it's I actually can't remember the last time that something this bizarre happened when we were here at Chat Sports. It was crazy.
It was truly one of the craziest stories at the time, and really that I've been alive for. Of course, not really alive for the OJ drama. That was way more of a bigger story. But, by the way, since they're laughing at me, did OJ do it? Type Y for yes, type N for no.
Oh, God. Will Andrew Luck return to the NFL? Type 1 for yes, 2 for no. I don't think Andrew Luck will ever return, even though I can guarantee it every single offseason. We're going to talk about it. I guarantee you we talk about Andrew Luck probably for the next, honestly, 10 years. Because if he does decide that he would want to.
I don't know about 10, but yeah, sure.
Why not? He's 29 years old.
But at a certain point, he's like, when he's in his 30s, he's like, okay, he's clearly not going to come
Well, he's technically going to be in his 30s next year.
Technically, you're true. All right.
So will Andrew Luck return to the NFL? 1 for yes, 2 for no.